That's right. We're going to part 2 of the Ultimate Unknown WWE. I like I said, I was gonna do the sumo talking points, but I didn't get to it in time, so that's gonna be off-stream video. But here, let's jump back into this, man. I'm excited to hear more crazy stuff about WWE.
He made it clear that he would return to the ring,
From our boy,
with or without
Age of
the
Wrestling.
WWE, and even New Japan Pro Wrestling showed interest in signing him. Another layer to this conspiracy theory is that WWE only cleared him at the last minute to stop him from wrestling elsewhere, a move made out of business desperation, not concern for his health. And up next we have Vince McMahon covers up a murder. In the 1980s, Superfly Jimmy Snuka was one of the top baby faces in WWE.
Oh, wow,
In
okay.
1983,
He covered
Snuka
it
was
up?
romantically involved with Nancy
Did
Argentina,
he cover it up?
despite being married at the time. The two were staying in a motel in Pennsylvania while WWF was in town for a television taping. After returning to his motel, Snuka called an ambulance for Nancy. When emergency personnel arrived, she was rushed to the hospital, but it was
Put on
too
captions
late.
this time.
Nancy Argentina was pronounced dead shortly after. The coroner's report concluded that she had died from a traumatic brain injury, consistent with a moving head striking a stationary object. The autopsy revealed more than 24 cuts and bruises all over her body. The forensic pathologist stated that the case should be investigated as a homicide.
Ooh.
Snuka was immediately considered the prime suspect. According to police interviews, Snuka initially told at least 5 people, including the responding officer, that he had shoved Nancy, causing her to fall and hit her head. He later changed his story, saying he was misunderstood and that she had slipped and hit her head while stopping along the highway to use the bathroom. In yet another version, he claimed that he returned from the tapings and found her unresponsive in bed, prompting the emergency call. Just 3 weeks after Nancy's death, the case went cold. This happened after a mysterious meeting between Jimmy Snuka, Vince McMahon, and the local district attorney. There is no official record of what was discussed in that meeting, but in Snuka's autobiography, he claimed that Vince McMahon showed up with a briefcase full of money. Snuka claimed that he didn't know what happened to that briefcase full of money,
Wait, what?
but he maintained that he never heard Nancy. These chilling revelations led to the case being reopened in 2015,
Yeah.
over 32 years later. Snuka was arrested and charged with third-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter.
Wow.
However, the case was ultimately dismissed. Snuka was declared mentally unfit to
Yeah,
stand
he was
trial,
super-
as he was suffering from dementia and battling stomach
He was literally
cancer.
about to die.
Just 2 weeks after the charges were dropped, Snuka passed away in Florida at the age of 73. And up next we have
That
Radio
sucks.
WWF.
The hell is this?
Radio WWF was a professional wrestling radio show produced by the WWF, now WWE. It provided live commentary for pay-per-views and covered news
Whoa,
and
that's
discussions surrounding
cool.
the wrestling industry as a whole. The show ran for a period of time, but was eventually cancelled, likely due to low station syndication.
Oh.
Each version of the show struggled to attract enough stations to carry it. Because of this, recordings of Radio WWF are scarce, and what
That's weird.
remains has become coveted media among fans who are interested in alternate pay-per-view commentary
Oh.
and rare WWF
I
broadcasts.
see.
While a few Radio WWF recordings have surfaced online, they are extremely limited compared to the number of shows that were produced, making them somewhat of lost media from a
Gotcha.
forgotten
Lost
corner of
media.
wrestling
I love
history.
my lost media.
And up next, we have RVD arrested while being WWE champion.
Fucking RVD, dude. Why? Why'd you do this? Well, you're so silly, man. You're such a goofball, bro. Why did you?
In 2006, Rob
I'm trying to
Van
think of like an
Dam
actual
was fired.
real world
At
sports
ECW
comparison.
One Night Stand, Rob Van Dam
Anyway.
pinned John Cena and won the WWE Championship.
Dude, 5 years in the promotion, finally won the WWE title.
1 week later, Paul Heyman awarded
Won the
RVD
ECW title,
the
first ever
ECW
man to hold
championship
both.
as well, making him a double champion. WWE had big plans for Rob Van Dam. His popularity was at an all-time high, and he was finally getting the main event push that fans had long demanded. But unfortunately, that momentum came to a screeching halt when RVD got in trouble with the law. While driving from Virginia to Philadelphia with Sabu, RVD was caught speeding well above the limit. Under normal circumstances, that might have just meant a ticket, but things escalated quickly when the officer smelled marijuana and decided to search the car. The search turned up 18 grams of marijuana, painkillers, and a few other substances. Both RVD and Sabu were arrested, and for Van Dam, the timing couldn't have been worse. Vince McMahon was furious. Within days, RVD dropped the WWE Championship to Edge,
Gone.
and the very next night, he lost the ECW Championship
Dropped
to the
both
Big Show.
immediately.
WWE also handed him a 30-day suspension. Though he returned after the suspension, RVD never regained his main event status, and his big push had
I don't think he
ended
even
just
ever
as
won a
quickly
single
as it
title
began.
after that again.
And up next, we have fan slaps Alexa Bliss's backside. Sometimes
Ah,
fans get a little
ew.
too excited when interacting
Ew. That's
with their
fucked
favorite
up.
WWE stars.
Don't do
And
that.
can lead to weird
Oh,
or downright
brother.
inappropriate moments, like what
That's
happened to
not
Alexa
appropriate.
Bliss in August of 2017. After finishing their match at a WWE
I
live
remember this,
event,
though.
Nia
Wasn't this like a
Jax
little kid, though?
lifted Alexa Bliss over her shoulder and began walking backstage. Bliss had her head down and likely had no idea where she was headed. But just as Jax turned near the ramp, a young fan
Yeah, that was
reached
a
out
kid.
and slapped Alexa Bliss on her backside. A year later, in an interview, Bliss revealed that she and Nia laughed off the incident backstage. But while it may have seemed harmless in the moment, it's a clear example of inappropriate fan behavior. And up next, we have Jeff Hardy
Oh
2009
man,
arrest.
fuck
In
this.
2009, just weeks after leaving WWE, Jeff Hardy's personal demons caught up to him in a major way. On September 11th, Hardy was arrested at his home in North Carolina, and what authorities found was nothing short of shocking. Police uncovered a massive stash of drugs. Over 200 Vicodin pills, 180 Soma tablets, 555 milliliters of roids, and a stash of coke. On top of that, they found drug paraphernalia and other substances scattered around the house. Hardy was immediately charged with multiple felonies related to drug trafficking and possession. For many fans, it was a brutal wake-up call, and Jeff had always walked a thin line
That's so
between
crazy,
charismatic
that fucking-
daredevil and self-destructive soul. But this arrest pulled the curtain back.
That's so crazy. The storyline between him and Punk, you know, talking about a lot of this, and then after he leaves, like after that feud immediately wraps up, arrested for that stuff, man. You gotta feel bad, just, you know, when you're kind of dealing with that kind of stuff, and then just like having to then portray that in front of the camera. So you just can't escape it, you know. That's tough, man. And he's still like up until 2022, man. He was let go from WWE again because he just didn't want to go to rehab, and he picked up by AEW, and then got another arrest, man. Like, it's fucked up.
Completely, revealing just how bad things have gotten. The timing only made it feel darker. Some fans speculated that WWE knew about his issues and pushed him out to avoid being connected to the fallout. Jeff eventually pleaded guilty and avoided serious jail time.
I don't even blame
The
WWE
incident
for doing
cast
that,
a
'cause,
long
like,
shadow
Jesus.
over his legacy. And up next, we have Tommy Dreamer almost murders Paul Heyman
Oh my
at
god, I
WrestleMania
forgot
17.
about this.
After
This is
ECW
so
folded
crazy.
in 2001, one of the company's top stars, Tommy Dreamer, fell into a deep depression. He had stuck
This
with
is
the promotion
insane.
through the highs and lows, even going as far to invest all of his money and some of his parents' money in an effort to keep ECW
Ouch.
alive.
Why would you do that?
But what crushed him most was seeing his former boss, Paul Heyman, now working comfortably for WWE. Dreamer had once turned down a $750,000-year deal from WCW out of loyalty to Paul Heyman and ECW. But to Dreamer, it became clear that that loyalty wasn't mutual. The breaking point came when Dreamer received an offer to appear at WrestleMania 17, only to have that offer pulled at the last minute. This situation even forced him to move back in with his parents, and that caused him to snap. He then bought a gun and made a plan. He would attend WrestleMania 17 at the Houston Astrodome with or without invitation. His intent, according to his own words, was to murder Paul Heyman while he was on commentary, and then take himself out in front of tens of thousands of people. Fortunately, before the event, Jim Ross called Dreamer and promised him that WWE would hire him. That phone call snapped him out of the darkness. Dreamer later admitted that he had been inches away from making a life-altering, irreversible decision. And up next, we have John Cena, a cheater. Former WWE star
Wait,
John
really?
Cena has been
That's
rumored
crazy
and
though.
speculated
You know, that's crazy. That's just a crazy thing to admit. Like, if I actually had that plan in my head, I would just not admit that. But also, man, dude, Paul Heyman, bro, that guy fucked over a lot of people in ECW. Like, to be fair, the promotion really just could not hold afloat. But man, that guy did not pay people shit, and yeah, he was not super loyal to his fans. I find it more funny than like actually, oh fuck that guy. But yeah, dude, that was tough. He just fucked over a lot of people, man.
and even in some
What is this?
circumstances,
I've never heard this.
outed as having numerous affairs both while dating and married to his high school sweetheart, Liz Herberdow. In 2012, Cena was romantically linked to adult video star Kendra Lust. Rumors spread of his affair with Kendra Lust ultimately led to his divorce from Liz. That is, until Kendra herself spoke out. According to Kendra, not only did she say she did not have an affair with John Cena, she also stated that the two never even met. Kendra, who in real life is a big wrestling fan,
Wasn't
did,
she
however,
at the
state that
show?
if the opportunity ever arose where
That's
Cena
crazy.
wanted to pursue a not safe for work relationship with her, she was all for it. That's not to say that Cena is 100% in the clear. While the Kendra Lust and John Cena affair might be nothing more than just a rumor,
Can we stop?
Cena was implicated as having an affair with former WWE divas Mickie James and
Okay,
Carter.
again, nothing came of that. That
Now
wasn't
next we have the
rumors, dude. That sucks that it led to divorce, though, but literally no proof.
tragedy
This
of
is,
China. China was a
God.
trailblazer,
This is sad.
a woman who shattered barriers in a male-dominated industry. She redefined what was possible for women in wrestling, but after leaving WWE in 2001, her life spiraled into darkness. After WWE, China turned to the adult film industry, starring in multiple films, including one with her ex, X-Pac, titled One Night in
X-Pac?
China. The wrestling world watched as
I have not
she
seen One Night
became
in
more
China, by the way.
detached, more lost, battling addiction and mental health struggles. She appeared on Celebrity Rehab, revealing a deep struggle with alcohol and prescription drug abuse.
That's a disgusting
WWE
show.
even offered to pay for her rehab, but China refused, paranoid about their intentions. By 2016, she was living in isolation, her life a cycle of brief attempts at recovery followed by relapses. Then on April 20, 2016, China was found dead in her home at age 46, and the cause was an accidental overdose of alcohol, oxycodone, Xanax, and muscle relaxers. The news devastated the wrestling community. Once an icon, now gone.
Tough.
It wasn't until 2019 that WWE finally inducted her into the WWE Hall of Fame. But even then, it was a part of DX, not as an individual. And she still has yet to be inducted as an individual to this day.
I don't think she will,
And
unfortunately.
up next, we have the Scratch logo appear
Okay,
before
this
the
is super
Attitude
cool,
Era.
actually. I think did
Everyone
I talk about this?
associates WWF's
think I might have,
iconic
but this
Scratch
is
logo
super
with
cool.
The rebellious, blood-soaked chaos of the Attitude Era, a symbol forever linked to Stone Cold, The Rock, and that era's unapologetic edge. Officially, it debuted in 1997 as part of the WWF's full rebranding into something darker, edgier, and more real. But
Yeah.
this is a strange anomaly buried deep in gaming history. In the 1994 video game, WWF Raw, released 3 years before the Attitude Era began,
94,
fans noticed
dude?
something chilling.
Like-
During the loading screen before matches, a small but unmistakable version of the
Look at
Scratch logo
that!
appears on the
Holy
side of the ring
shit!
monitor. It's not a glitch. It's not a coincidence. It's the same jagged, aggressive
They were-
logo that wouldn't become
That's
official until
crazy.
much later. No official explanation has ever been given, but if you look close enough, the Attitude Era may have started long before Vince.
It's just a crazy thought, because it means, like, the only way I can think of that, right, is that they were just planning. They had this idea in mind of kind of rebrand to be edgier. In 1994? That's just so weird. Maybe, I don't know. I can't think of another explanation for it. Because, like, it wasn't like in 94 they were trying to be more edgier, or, like, edgy and, like, failing. Like, 96, maybe, but, like, 94, they were still very much, like, family-friendly kind of stuff, man. And it wasn't even like WCW was huge competition that was doing that kind of stuff at the time, though, that kind of spurred that idea. They just kind of had this logo, like, kept away, I guess, forever, which is nuts.
McMahon ever said the word attitude on TV.
Yeah.
And up next we have Brian
Christ.
Pillman. Brian Pillman was a wild card in professional wrestling. A man whose loose cannon persona blurred the lines between fiction and reality.
One of the best characters of the late 90s ever, honestly. It's a huge what if.
But behind the chaos of his character was a body breaking down.
Unbelievable
Years of
promos.
injuries, including
Yeah,
a
that sucks.
devastating ankle injury. In a
I've talked about him a lot before, you know, in like whenever the WCW channel uploads like you know, an old pay-per-view and he's on there. His match is almost always worth watching. So, and then he turned into a really great character, and then
crash.
injuries,
Lifting
and then a
reliance
car
on
crash,
painkillers
and
just
then
to
a
keep
painkiller
performing.
addiction.
His body was deteriorating, but he
Ugh.
refused to slow down. He signed with WWE in 1996, but by then he was a shell of the athlete that he once was, wrestling through excruciating pain. On October 5, 1997, Pillman was scheduled to face Dude Love at WWE's In Your House Bad Blood pay-per-view, but he never showed up. Concerned, police forced their way into his Bloomington, Minnesota hotel room. Inside, they found Pillman dead at just 35 years old. The cause was a massive heart attack caused by an
35.
undiagnosed heart disease. the same genetic condition that had taken his father's life at a young
Oh.
age. Years of painkiller use and physical abuse had only exacerbated the inevitable. WWE's handling of his death was disturbing. The next night on Raw,
No. I'm not doing this. I can't do this. I can't. I don't think I've been more disgusted. This is so disgusting. What, like, literally, okay. So he's found dead on Sunday night. And then Monday night, Vince fucking McMahon sets up an interview with his wife to be broadcasted live 24 hours, not even after he was found dead. Of what it's the hardest. It's one of the hardest watches like you'll ever fucking see in your life, man.
WWE aired an interview with Pillman's grieving widow, Melanie, pressing her about her drug use and financial troubles.
Oh my
that
god!
many saw
What the fuck's wrong with you, man?
as insensitive and exploitative.
Oh,
And up next,
so
we have the
gross.
Charlotte Flair and
Really?
Nia
This is
Jax
this-
shoot.
that's lower than what I just saw. This is lower. This is just a little scrap, little scrap
The
between.
incident happened during a match between.
You know what's
Nia-
fucking crazy though is like, okay, I guess I need to talk about Lesnar, Strowman, but like people look at this like in negative light. It's like, oh, what the fuck, man, this is terrible. Like when this shit just happens. This is a thing that happens in wrestling sometimes.
Jax and Charlotte Flair on the
This is
August
awesome,
30,
though.
2021 episode of Monday Night Raw. At one point, the match took a turn for the worse, and it became evident that the two were clearly not cooperating. Nia Jax's back suplex on Charlotte, which dropped her hard at a slight angle, may have set the stage, because after that, the two started to
They
hit each other
started like
with
actually
legitimate
punching
strikes,
each other.
with Jax trying to swat her away and audibly yelling, "Go, don't," to her opponent. After a few pushes and slaps, the Queen began sandbagging on maneuvers, and Nia responded with a few retorts. There were other embarrassing situations where one of them attempted to execute some prearranged
Oh,
maneuvers,
embarrassing.
but the other person failed to receive the memo.
The match was
throwing
bad.
The timing entirely off. When Nia Jax pinned Charlotte after a very stiff powerbomb, the situation thankfully ended.
That's awesome
And
though.
up next, we have the
Oh,
Fabulous Moolah
Christ.
allegations.
Not
The
awesome.
Fabulous Moolah was a legendary and pioneering figure in women's wrestling. Rising to prominence in the mid-20th century, she became one of the most successful and enduring female wrestlers of all time. Her career spanned decades, and she famously held the Women's World Championship for an unprecedented 28 years.
She didn't though. I was just recognized by that. Total bullshit. She held it for a lot of years. Wasn't 28.
Effectively giving her a monopoly over women's wrestling for generations.
Yes, that's
However,
unfortunate.
beneath the surface of her legacy.
Yeah, so she was
lies
like the women's wrestler for 30 years. She was the top girl. But she used that ability to traffic her students.
a far darker story. Moolah operated a wrestling school. Multiple women have come forward accusing Moolah
What the
of acting as a
fuck?
pimp.
Why is this in Yahtzee? What the fuck? You really can show like it's pimped.
Providing a
What the
trainees
fuck,
to
man?
wrestling promoters under
That's
the guise of
hilarious.
bookings, only for those women to be used as
Oh,
objects. by
Jesus
promoters
Christ,
and male
dude.
Wrestlers. Many claim that they were not told of these arrangements beforehand, and those who refused to comply were reportedly R-worded. Some also
The dude was,
alleged
like,
that they were
smiling
given
through
hard
how fucking
drugs,
weird that
seemingly
was.
as a way to create addiction and dependency, further cementing Mullah's control over them. Disturbingly, there are also reports that some trainees were also forced to engage in lewd acts with Mullah herself in order to stay in her good graces. Mullah herself would openly be homophobic, but she would engage in lesbianism, revealing a deep layer of hypocrisy and manipulation. These horrifying allegations have since tainted
cool.
Mullah's legacy.
That's awesome.
And up next we have Hulk Hogan chokes out a TV
This was
host.
awesome too.
In the build-up to the very first WrestleMania, just 5 days before the event, Hulk Hogan appeared on a talk show called Hot Properties, hosted by comedian Richard Belzer. Belzer, known for a sarcastic tone, repeatedly insisted that Hogan and Mr. T demonstrate a wrestling move on him. His attitude was that wrestling was fake, a dangerous opinion to voice during the kayfabe-heavy era of the 1980s. Hogan and Mr. T initially resisted, clearly uncomfortable with the idea of breaking character or exposing the business on live television.
So let's just put this guy in a real
But Balzer
choke.
wouldn't let it go. He kept pushing, and eventually Hogan gave in. What followed was no demonstration. Hogan legitimately locked Belzer into a
There it
front
is.
chinlock and applied real pressure. Within seconds, Belzer was choked out unconscious, collapsed limp to the studio floor, smacking his head hard as he landed. The moment was
He's
caught
like,
live on camera
Mr. T
and
was
left
so
the
casual
audience
about
stunned.
that too.
Belzer later sued Hulk Hogan for $5 million,
That didn't go anywhere, I don't
citing
think.
serious personal injury. The case was eventually settled out of court, but the incident has since become a legendary cautionary tale in wrestling. And up next, we have the Mr. Perfect.
Oh my fucking god, how many times do I have to explain this? This was in your last Iceberg. Age of Wrestling? Kurt Hennig. Not Kurt Henning.
Mandela effect.
Can I skip this one?
There's a
I've literally...
phenomenon behind that, isn't it? That's how
Kurt Hennig? No, Kurt Hennig.
SA.
Oh my
in
god.
addition to- And up next, we have the Jerry Lawler SA. Jerry Lawler, in addition to being a legend...
It's kind of funny how, like, you know, not publicized, but, like, critiqued he is for this when, like, the victim, there was lack of evidence, I believe? I'll explain it.
legendary Memphis
I'm saying he didn't
wrestler,
do
one
it.
off of the greatest announcing duos in the history of the business. Jim Ross doing play-by-plays plus
I'm not
Jerry
saying he's a good
Lawler
guy
doing
either, it's
comedic
just-
heel commentary was absolutely
He's definitely a perv.
But in 1993, Lawler faced a scandal that could have destroyed his career. Lawler was charged with the R word of a 13-year-old
Why the
girl,
fuck are you
and although these
Where's this
charges
stock
were eventually
video, bro?
dropped, Lawler did plead guilty to harassing
Witness!
a witness in the case who was a 14-year-old girl
case was
who
dropped.
going to testify against him. Initially, WWE suspended Lawler.
What do you
whom
say? I didn't-
eventually dropped. Lawler did plead guilty to harassing a witness in the case who was a 14-year-old girl
Oh.
who was going to testify against him. Initially,
That's not a good
WWE
look.
suspended Lawler, but then they let him back into the fold after the worst charges were dropped. And now we're moving down the iceberg.
Holy shit,
into
dude.
Tier
Tier
7.
2.
With our first entry on Tier 7 being The Ultimate Warrior replaced Conspiracy Theory. The
Whoa.
Ultimate Warrior was one of the biggest stars in the WWF during the late 80s and was seen as the heir to Hulk Hogan's throne after defeating him for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 6 in 1990. However, Warrior didn't quite pan out as the long-term top guy WWE had always hoped
Bit of a
for.
dickhead.
After losing the title the following year,
Hard to
a
work
series
with.
of creative disagreements culminated in the Warrior being fired following SummerSlam 1991. Though Warrior was eventually rehired in 1992, fans noticed something odd. He looked different. He had shorter hair, appeared significantly leaner, and carried himself differently in the ring. This sparked a long-running conspiracy theory
Yo.
that Jim Hellwig, the man behind the original Ultimate Warrior, had died, and that a replacement performer had been put under the paint. Some fans even speculated that it was Kerry Von Erich, better known as the Texas Tornado, who had taken up the mantle.
I do
of
love
the
this conspiracy
Warrior.
theory a lot,
The
though. I
timing of
cannot
Von
lie.
Erich's push, his similar physique, and the coincidental absence of both men at various times only added fuel to the theory. And up next we have Chris Benoit appears in the WWE Thunderdome. During
Oh,
WWE's
fuck's sakes.
Thunderdome era in 2020, where fans' live video feeds were broadcasted onto virtual screens, a bizarre, unsettling
I should have done
moment
that, man.
occurred.
I really should have
Chris
applied for
Benoit's
that.
face appeared not
That'd've been
once,
cool.
but twice. The first incident happened shortly after the Thunderdome concept launch. A fan managed
Oh
to
my god,
display
there he
image of
is!
Benoit's face
He's
on the
back!
screen, causing
Holy
immediate
shit!
controversy. WWE quickly cut the feed, but the damage was done. The internet had already captured screenshots. A second
Oh
report
my
followed
god, he's
not
back
long
again!
after, with yet another Benoit image
Jesus
making it onto the
Christ.
broadcast. After this, WWE tightened its security.
Oh, it should have
implementing
banned image
stricter
list.
monitoring of fan feeds to prevent further
I can't make out anything else except for the wrestling logos. That's awesome, though.
the incidents. The appearances of Benoit's images in the Thunderdome sparked debates. Some saw it as a
Debates.
dark joke.
Yes,
Others viewed
man.
it as an attempt to force WWE to acknowledge a figure that they had erased from history. And up next, we have
Oh,
the Tony
fuck's
Storm leaks.
sakes.
AEW star Tony Storm has previously
Oh.
opened up about her ongoing battles with depression and
Yeah,
anxiety
this sucks.
in the past, stating that it all began when she was 16 years old. Tony Storm got into wrestling to help her mental health, but already 3 years into the wrestling business, Storm suffered serious bouts of depression with the death of her grandfather, issues with family, and struggling to make it in a male-dominated industry. Things got progressively worse for
Ew.
Storm as a private video was leaked all over the internet of
19
her pleasuring
19
herself.
years old.
She felt violated and mortified and feared the video leak could ruin her career. She decided to cut off mostly everyone, including some family and friends. Around that time, she won the NXT
Yeah, unfortunate
UK
hand
Women's
tattoo.
title, but admitted that the title victory was during some of her darkest days. Thoughts of ending her life creeped in and out of her mind during that time. Thankfully, she credits a close inner circle of friends and family that helped her through her dark times. And up next, we have DX Blackface. One of the most infamous and controversial
Can't do this
moments in
anymore.
WWE and in D-Generation X's
Can't do
history
this
was the
anymore.
segment where DX mocked the Nation of Domination by wearing blackface. It's a moment WWE would very much like fans to forget. In the segment, Triple H portrayed The Rock in full blackface, Sean Waltman dressed as Mark Henry, Road Dogg as D'Lo Brown, and Billy Gunn as The Godfather. This skit was meant to be comedic at the time, but in retrospect, it's widely condemned as tone deaf.
It's a funny
and
segment,
deeply
but
offensive. WWE has since scrubbed the segment from all official platforms.
yeah, you can't.
But for those who remember,
Can't.
or for those who have seen the footage resurface online,
fuck?
there's no denying that it happened.
That's a
and
funny
it
as
remains
hell
one
picture,
of the
man.
company's most shameful moments. And up next, we have the Vince McMahon.
There we
sent
go.
Vince
That's what I
Russo
talked
to
about
kill
earlier.
WCW
This is
conspiracy theory.
this is true.
In the mid to late 1990s,
This is true.
Vince Russo was the
I
head
believe
writer
this.
for WWE and played a major role in shaping the direction of the Attitude Era. His edgy, unpredictable storytelling style.
Yeah, so he came in 98, like late 98, the whole Survivor Series 98 tournament thing. Awesome. Very fresh, new ideas, exactly what they needed for the Attitude Era. Time went on, seemingly started to stop caring or just got a little bit like too crazy, outlandish. It was still popular, but the product was kind of getting shit. So he left, went to WCW. When they were kind of struggling with ideas, really. They really didn't know what to do, so they brought him in. Russo did even more to like fuck shit up, man. Super chaotic show. Company was dead in 2 years. Like that's the gist of it.
Was a defining feature of WWE's resurgence at that time. According to Russo, he left WWE in the summer of '99 because he felt the addition of SmackDown stretched his creative limits too thin and would water down his work.
Which fair.
Shortly after, Russo
But then you went
jumped
to a
ship
show that they went to
WCW,
the that
replacing
Thunder.
Eric Bischoff at a time when the company was already in decline,
Fuck.
with falling ratings, poor pay-per-view numbers, and dwindling attendance. Under Russo's creative control, things didn't get better. They got even worse.
Even
His time in
fucking
WCW
worse.
was marked by chaotic storytelling, bizarre swerves, and questionable decisions, including booking himself as the WCW
Booked
World
himself.
Champion.
Like this
Fans
dude's
and
literally
critics-
just a writer for the show. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give myself the world title. That's fucking. Honestly, that's kind of awesome in retrospect.
alike believe that
but
Russo's
Jesus
vision only
Christ.
accelerated WCW's downfall. This gave birth to one of wrestling's most persistent
Yeah, a lot of people
conspiracy
didn't- yeah.
theories, that Vince McMahon sent Russo to kill WCW on purpose, a Trojan horse designed to sabotage the competition from within.
That's
This
awesome.
theory claims that Russo's reckless booking
Could you
wasn't
could
just
you
bad.
imagine like being that bad of like a booker or like a writer that like people thought they were using over there on purpose to kill that promotion?
It was intentional. Whether or not that's true, Russo's time in WCW did coincide with the company's final downward
That's
spiral.
insane,
And to
dude.
this day, some fans believe that Vince McMahon's fingerprints were all over it. And up next, we have the Drew McIntyre and Tiffany domestic incident. Before he became a world-traveled indie star, and long before his redemption arc in
Stratton or the
WWE,
older Tiff? Is there an
Drew
older Tiffany?
McIntyre was the chosen one, handpicked by Vince McMahon himself. He was once viewed as the future of the
There
company.
is, isn't there?
But in 2010,
Oh my God.
everything changed. Drew's
Yes.
promising rise came to a halt after a disturbing domestic incident involving his then wife, Taryn Terrell.
Oh,
known to
right,
WWE
that's Taryn
fans
Terrell,
as
yeah.
Tiffany.
Wait, they
In
had a.
August of that year, police were called after an alleged physical altercation between the two. But in a twist that many fans don't realize, Drew wasn't the aggressor. He was the victim. Tiffany was arrested and suspended indefinitely by WWE. Though the details of the fight were kept mostly under wraps, the damage was already done. Taryn was eventually released from the company and the couple split, but Drew never recovered his standing. Despite his innocence, Drew's reputation
actually
seemed
totally
to
forgot
suffer
about
behind
that.
the scenes. Once seen as a future world champion,
I don't
McIntyre
think
was
that
quietly
stopped
demoted
it,
to the
though.
lower card, eventually becoming part of the comedic, career-killing faction of 3MB. For years, he was just a punchline.
I
Another
do
lost
quite love the fact like how they talk about 3MB and how it was like literally the worst thing ever. Like even WWE's like, wow, we kind of fucking blew with that angle, that story. I totally forgot about the whole domestic incident. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's weird, bro. Cause like Taryn Terrell like went on to have a better career, like not Drew, but like a good career. That's crazy. I forgot about that.
WWE's long history of failed pushes. It wouldn't be until much later, after leaving the company and reinventing
10 long
himself as
years.
Drew Galloway,
11
that he'd
long
begin to reclaim
years.
his name. And up next, we have the
Ah,
Batista
shit.
and Melina scandal.
Oh, this is...
Batista has gone on record labeling women as his drug of choice during his time on the road with the WWE. This penchant for bedroom activity activated a locker room scandal involving him and diva Melina. It was reported in the past that the Animal got together with the 5-time women's champion while she was still dating WWE star John Morrison. Just to add a bit more fuel to this alleged fire, it was also reported that Batista was still with his wife, who had been suffering from cancer when the alleged affair took place. After the affair ended, Melina would then end up back in a relationship with John Morrison, which reportedly rattled Vince McMahon up the wrong way, as in his eyes, it made John Morrison look weak. And up next, we have the Kurt Angle and Daniel
this is really
Peter
funny.
shoot. This shoot incident all went down on the November 4th, 2004 episode of SmackDown. During the show, Season 4 finalists of WWE's Tough Enough were challenged to a squat thrust competition, which contestant Chris Norrocky ultimately won. His prize was an unexpected off-the-cuff shoot match against the Olympic gold medalist and grappling legend Kurt Angle. As you'd assume, Angle made pretty quick work of Norrocky, legitimately fracturing his ribs and awarding him a one-way paid ticket to the ER.
Yeah, that's very nice
All
of him.
jacked up, Kurt then extended the shoot challenge to the others, and Daniel Puder took him up on it. After a quick face-off in the ring, the two locked up. Soon, Puder legitimately had Kurt Angle in a Kimura lock. Daniel had gained the full position and could have broken Kurt's arm and sent him into surgery if he wanted. This was obviously not how anyone expected things to go, so veteran referee Jimmy Corderas quickly counted to 3, even though Puder bridged out at 2. As it turned out, Kurt Angle was reportedly less than happy about what transpired, as he felt that he was made to look like a chump to a relative nobody, and he was also angry at the fact that Puder could have legitimately broken his arm. The boys in the locker room were also less than very happy about it, and they sought out to get revenge
sucks,
for the
man.
sake of Angle and the rest
That's
of the
insane.
business. So at the next Royal Rumble, the first 4 entrants were Puder, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and
this is so funny, dude. Like 3 of the biggest like locker room like hazers. I don't know if we want to call it that, dude. 3 of like the meanest guys backstage sometimes, bro. They come into the Royal Rumble. Puder comes in number 4, and literally for like the next 2 minutes, it's legitimately just to beat the shit out of Daniel Puder for doing that.
and Bob Holly. The 3 men beat the crap out of
They
Puder
beat
for
the
a few
fuck
minutes,
out of this
then
guy.
threw him over the top rope. Puder's wrestling career never
And they
really
literally
took
did
off
nothing.
after
It was
this
literally
incident,
just
and
to
he was
fucking
soon
beat him
gone
up.
from WWE.
They booked this.
And up next, we have the
Oh, this is
downfall of
also
Sunny.
sad.
Once dubbed the blonde bombshell of WWE, Sunny was one of the biggest stars of the 1990s, often considered WWE's first true diva. She was so popular that, by the late 90s, she had earned the title of the most downloaded woman on the internet. But while fans saw a glamorous figure on screen, behind the scenes, her life was unraveling. During her WWE run, Sunny struggled with substance abuse, which eventually led to a firing. She had a short stint in WCW, but that too ended quickly, surrounded by rumors of drug use, including an incident where she was allegedly found passed out in the showers after ingesting Nubane, a powerful painkiller. From 2001 to 2003, Sunny shifted into adult modeling, regularly posing nude for Missy Hyatt's Wrestling Vixen's website. She eventually disappeared from the spotlight for a while, only to return in 2016, this time starring in an adult film under a contract with Vivid Entertainment. The controversy wasn't the film itself, but the fact that she wore her WWE Hall of Fame during the shoot.
Gross.
Sunny's story turns from sad to deeply disturbing with
really
a long history of criminal behavior. Her legal
So
troubles began escalating in
many
2012,
DUIs.
with 5 arrests in just 4 weeks, ranging from disorderly conduct to third-degree burglary and multiple violations of protective orders. Over the years, she would rack up numerous DUIs and other charges, including an arrest for threatening to murder her partner with a pair of scissors, and another for making terroristic threats in January of 2022. But her darkest chapter came just 2 months later. In March of 2022, while driving under the influence of alcohol, Sunny slammed into the back of the car, driven by a 75-year-old man.
Yeah, he
causing a
killed
fatal
him.
crash. Her blood alcohol
killed
content
someone.
was 0.280, more than 3 times the legal limit, and she was driving without a valid license too. This incident led to her being sentenced to 17 years in prison,
God almighty,
marking
she
a
looks
tragic final descent for someone
horrible.
who once stood at the very top of the wrestling world.
Oh,
And up next, we have Triple H doesn't jog,
what is this?
even in video games. Triple H's reputation for backstage political power has been debated for years, but in 2008, it extended beyond the ring and
This is
into
pretty
the
funny.
virtual world. During the promotional campaign for SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, WWE sent a very peculiar memo to the gaming press. Under no circumstances was Triple H to be depicted losing, being beaten down, or shown in any kind of vulnerable position. He had to look strong, always.
To the
This
game?
wasn't just about real matches anymore. Now even Pixels had to protect the game's legacy. Most outlets complied, carefully selecting footage and screenshots that kept Triple H looking like the King of Kings.
Wow.
But Fighting Spirit magazine ignored the directive, publishing a screenshot of Triple H getting demolished in-game. Fans laughed and critics nodded, but behind the scenes, it likely ruffled feathers, because if there's one thing you apparently don't do, it's showing
Why?
Triple H
Did they
being
actually
a
get
virtual
fucking...
finisher. And up next, we have the Seth
Oh my
Rollins
god, I'm
match.
gonna end it there. We'll get into that next... Well, in part 3 we'll get into that. That's fucking interesting, bro. Oh. Gonna end it there.